Don't hit the gavel.
Berenstein,
Here.
Bertrand, Rayford,
Here.
Shaner,
Here.
Scott.
Get the Pledge of Allegiance. Have a moment of silence. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have two proclamations today. We're going to start with the public library, and we'll follow. Here, Jean Logan is here next. After that,
Sarah's here. I don't know.
oh, Sarah's here. Okay.
I don't know who's accepting,
Or
but
Lacey. Okay. Well, either way.
who wants to accept?
Okay. Who wants to accept? Okay. Here we are.
Hold that microphone back to you when you talk and then put it back for her. There you go. Thank
I'm
you.
pretty loud. Congratulations, by the way. Sioux City Public Library sparks creativity, fuels imagination, and inspires lifelong learning, offering a space where individuals of all ages can explore new ideas and be drawn to new possibilities. And whereas the Sioux City Public Library serves as a vibrant community hub, connecting people with knowledge, technology, and fostering civic engagement. And whereas the Sioux City Public Library provides free, equitable access to books, digital tools, and innovative programming, ensuring that all individuals, regardless of background, have the support they need to thrive. And whereas the Sioux City Public Library nurtures young minds through story times, STEM programs, and literacy initiatives, cultivating curiosity and a love of learning that lasts a lifetime. And whereas the Sioux City Public Library protects the right to read, to think, to explore without censorship, standing as champions of the intellectual freedom and free expression. Now I, Julie Shaner, Mayor Pro Tem of the City of Sioux City, Iowa, on behalf of the Mayor and City Council, do hereby proclaim April 19th through the 25th, 2026 as National Library Week.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Shaner, and thank you to the Council. The theme for this year's National Library Week is Find Your Joy. And it is an invitation for people from all backgrounds to explore and discover what sparks joy for them in the library. So we invite everyone in our community to stop into the library and bring a friend, get a library card. It is truly one of the great services that our city offers that opens endless possibilities. And then explore something new, a book, a program, or a new collection. We think you will find that your Sioux City Public Library is a place where curiosity and connection come to life. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Next is visiting week. Is there anyone here?
Hi. Good.
Good. We purposely left the holes. Oh, she fits right into that. That's right. That's right. Home visiting week. Whereas the early childhood years are the most active period for developing brain and a stable, secure relationship with a nurturing, caring adult is a key factor in the development of young children. And whereas home visiting can include a variety of different programs and models, including early childhood home visiting programs and parenting education programs. And whereas home visiting programs help parents meeting unique needs, promote healthy development, strengthen family relationships, reduce the risk of abuse and neglect, and promote equity by providing resources to families who are the furthest from opportunity. And whereas well-trained professionals implement early childhood home visitations so that all families have the opportunity to have access to information in ways that respect their unique beliefs, traditions, and customs. Now I, Julie Shaner, Mayor Pro Tem of the City of Sioux City, on behalf of the Mayor and City Council, do hereby proclaim April 20th through the 24th, 2026 as Home Visiting Week. Congratulations. Thank you.
I'm really nervous. I don't know what's going on. You got it, Jean.
Do you want to?
Hi. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Jean Logan. I'm with the Community Action Agency. I have with me Lacey Shanks, who runs our Early Head Start home visitation program. And we also have a guest with us today from LSI. There's actually two from LSI. They do home visitation for the HOPES program. And Siouxland District Health also does home visitation. So we're all celebrating together this week. And we would love if we could have a picture with you. Thank you.
Congratulations. Bye, Jean.
All right, we'll get started on the consent agenda. I'll move.
Second.
Righty. Items 2 through 14B constitute a consent agenda. Items passed unanimously unless a separate roll call vote is requested by a council member. Anyone wishing to speak on an agenda item may come to the podium at the time the item is being discussed. Anyone wishing to speak on an item not on the agenda may do so at the end of the regular meeting during citizen concerns. Fill out a citizen concern card found outside the chambers and give it to the city manager. All speakers shall state their name for the record and then provide their statement. Reading of the city council minutes, April 13th and 15th.
I have one comment. So thank you for addressing, because the new RCA does note that it's approved as to, it's reviewed and approved by, but the memo or the notation says as to form, and the minutes do reflect that, add that the form has been approved by the city manager, the city attorney, and city finance. It's not just the form, because the form and format is always going to be the same. What I want to make sure is that the responsible party, whether it's city manager, finance, or city attorney, has reviewed it as to the substance as well. And I'll give you a good example. If you look at a lot of the materials that we've got today, we always have attachments, and we don't have the ability to go back and look to make sure that an attachment with regard to a TIF program or the expense summary is accurate. So not only do I want it that the form that the RCA reflects that it's been reviewed as to form, but also as to substance. Now, I will say I was incorrect last week when I asked for that correction, because the prior RCAs did not say as to form and substance. But as I think through it, as I review the materials, I do want the RCA to reflect that it's been reviewed as to form and substance as it's being presented to us, because I think that's what we rely on when we're reviewing the materials, because we don't have them.
Sure, and I will say the council rules reflect specifically that the city attorney approves the form of the resolution. I can discuss with the city manager related to who's tracking and approving in the RCA, because normally that falls to the department.
And maybe I'm worrying too much about the use of the word form,
Okay.
as I am form and substance. So if you can help clarify that, that would be great.
Sure, and I will take responsibility. I'm the one that included the language as to form, and we were consulting as to what that should look like.
Okay.
But maybe we could visit just to make sure that we have it in a form that's appropriate.
And then to be consistent, I think the minutes should not just reflect that I was requesting to add that the form has been approved, but the form and substance. And then we can work from there and determine what's going to be included.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay,
Do you need me to make that motion, Heidi?
if you would like the minutes to be amended, then yes.
I'd like to move that on the council concerns, my comments regarding the request for council action form reflect that it is reviewed and approved as to form and substance by the city manager, city finance, or city attorney.
Second.
Rayford?
Aye.
Shaner?
Aye.
Berenstein?
Aye, thank you.
I just wanted to note, I didn't see where the mayor had left or departed from the meeting on yet where.
Minutes, quick. You are correct, it was left off of there, so we'll determine that. You need a motion.
Will that require you to go back to the actual video to determine? Is that how you did?
No, because I know he left,
Oh.
and I can see that it's not in the minutes, so.
I move that we amend the minutes to reflect the mayor's departure.
Second that.
Rayford?
Aye.
Shaner?
Aye.
Berenstein?
Aye.
Right, so let's go back to the consent agenda. Excuse me. Item 3, resolution approving and accepting a city deed for the city's Southbridge Rail Yard. 4, resolution awarding the purchase order to Siouxland Concrete for concrete products for the Public Works Department.
Does this fall within the 2% rule?
No. It's a 5-county rule.
5 county, okay.
So, 5, actions relating to boards, commissions, and committees. A motion appointing Cindy Mosier to the Art Center Board of Trustees for a 3-year term expiring December of 2028. B, a motion appointing Dave Kornman to Wastewater Treatment Plant Reconstruction and Design Advisory Committee for a term expiring June 30th, 2026. Item 6, actions relating to grants. A, resolution authorizing and filing of applications with Federal Transit System for transportation assistance. B, resolution authorizing and approving an application for annual consolidated transit assistance funding from the IDOT. 7, actions relating to street closures. A, resolution temporary closing various streets in the downtown area July 31st, August 8th and 14th for the Hard Rock and Casinos Battery Park Concert Series. B, resolution temporary closing various streets and sidewalks in the downtown area June 6th and 7th for the June Jam outdoor concert event. C, resolution temporarily closing a portion of 4th Street on June 13th for the MacGyver Models Runway Sioux City event. 8, items relating to civil penalties and suspensions. 8A, resolution assessing a $500 civil penalty against Miles Inn for violation of the beer and wine liquor laws. B, resolution assessing $500 civil penalty against Chopper Davo's Pizza for a violation of the beer, wine, and liquor laws. C, resolution assessing a $500 civil penalty against Bill's Bar for violation of beer, wine, and liquor laws. 9, actions relating to agreements and contracts. A, resolution approving a contract with Mark Albanesius for the Lorraine Avenue Emergency Sewer Sanitary Sewer Repair. B, resolution approving the second amendment to extension option 2 to the contract Paratransit Demand Response Services and extension option 2 to joint participation and vehicle use agreement with Siouxland Regional Transit.
Is there an alternative provider? I'm not suggesting that we transition, but is there an alternative service provider
So
to this contract?
we go out for proposals.
Right.
And we did receive one proposal, and it was from Surge last time. So every 5 years, we'll go out. This is the last of that 5-year period. So in the wintertime, we'll go out for proposals again.
Very good.
Not a 5+1 option?
It's a 3+2.
3+2, gotcha. Equals 5. 10, actions relating to personnel. Resolution amending the position classification manual by approving an updated job description for the position of airport director. B, resolution amending position classification manual, salary schedule, and authorized personnel complement by adding the position title and job description of transit director.
So Mike, these two actions are part of the transition.
Yes.
To naming you as full-time city manager. With these employee complements, how are you going to phase in the positions and the new individuals?
So my allocation for transit will drop off as we promote up and rehire on transit. The airport, we will pause a little bit because we have a pending retirement towards the end of the year. So these descriptions just get us set up to be able to post those for advertisement.
Okay. Great, thank you.
Excuse me for clearing my throat constantly. I'm coming down with a cold, everyone. 11, actions authorizing payments. A, resolution for approving March fund transfers. B, motion approving the list of all claims, total expenses by fund, and receipts by fund for March. C, resolution approving settlement agreement and release and authorizing payments.
I have a question for, I guess, the chief or whomever. And it's just a general, any policy or process changes.
I guess I would just comment on litigation matters. We don't usually comment in a public forum, but we'd be happy to address that outside.
Oh, yeah, talk to you.
E, resolution authorizing payment to Winkler Roofing for the terminal roof replacement project. 12, applications for cigarette, tobacco, nicotine, vapor product permits. 13, applications for alcohol, none. 14, board and commission and committee minutes. Review the list and come forward if you have any questions. This is the end of the consent agenda.
Shaner,
Aye.
Berenstein,
Aye.
Rayford.
Aye.
Recommendations of planning and zoning. Each of these items will require a separate vote, gentlemen.
Okay.
Is there anybody here from P&Z? No? Okay. 15, ordinance rezoning 1000 Morningside Avenue. Petitioner Gur Kerpa, LLC. P&Z recommends approval. First consideration was approved the 6th. Second consideration was approved April 13th. Do I have a motion for third reading?
I'll move third reading. Have we had any comment on this item?
I've gotten that one email,
I haven't either.
citizen comment, or,
Mike, have you heard anything? Okay.
right.
Berenstein,
Aye.
Rayford,
Aye.
Shaner.
Aye. 16, hearing and resolution designating an area of Sioux City as appropriate for an urban renewal project, adopting an amended, restated urban renewal plan for Teton Urban Renewal Project area. P&Z recommends approval for this item.
And I do have a question, just for some clarification, I guess. Just to understand.
We have a motion and a second.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you want a motion first? I'll move this item.
Second.
Thank you.
What's your question, Mike?
Well, my question is, I mean, in determining an area to be blighted or what have you, and I realize, what constitutes us looking at an area or that becoming, the case?
Chris Madsen, Planning Manager. This is an area that there is a future development proposal for apartments on that property. So looking at the toolbox of different economic development options that we have, TIF is the option that the developer wants to move forward with. So that does require us to include that in the TIF district.
Okay, and so then we do have a specific project or?
Correct.
Oh, all right. Thanks.
And it's not just a blighted area, it's blighted and economic development, correct?
All of our plans are joint plans within the city under both designations.
Teresa Fitch, I'm Assistant City Manager. I just wanted to know all of our current TIFs right now are under the blighted and ED setting. We set them initially, and then when we add things into them, they stay within their current classification.
But I think what Ike is maybe wondering is, is there a certain definition of blight that triggers an opportunity to create a TIF district? And it's a broad definition, right?
It is.
They're blighted and economic development.
Correct.
And then you look at the second element of that, talking about rehab, conservation, redevelopment, development, or a combination thereof. So it's the broad scope of the definition
Correct.
of a district that gives planning and economic development the ability to designate those areas or broaden those areas because they're blighted and or there's economic development.
Correct.
Is that a fair assessment?
Correct, and they're both statutorily defined as to what blighted means in the economic development areas, and we can provide you materials related to that if you would like to review it.
Yeah, that would be great.
Okay.
And just a quick question, since Teresa, you're there. As far as like projected taxes and whatever goes to the blighted or renewal, do we calculate that to know what that looks like?
We do every year. So each one of these different urban renewals has their own set of the amount of tax that's available for us, and we look at every one of the projects they provide for me, what what each one of their development agreements and whatnot, and then we determine how much of that TIF that we need to keep in order for us to satisfy those development agreements.
Oh, okay. And Teresa, I think a little bit, sometimes what gets lost is the form of designating, we have a hearing in ordinance or a hearing in resolution, we designate these areas, but we don't really go through the development that's occurring. And to Ike's point and question, the taxes that get generated that support the improvements in that area. So I don't want you to spend 20 minutes, but I'm wondering if you could spend just a couple minutes to talk through the Teton urban renewal, the combined Central Sioux City, the Donner, and the Floyd River.
So what you're doing right here today is not actually the projects. We're adding the projects for the ability for us to actually utilize the TIF for those projects.
Exactly, because some of those are prospective, correct?
Correct.
So if you could just give a quick summary of the projects that are included within those TIFs that support the hearing and resolution or the hearing and ordinance.
I would rely on Marty to do so. It comes from economic, typally most of them come from economic development. I don't have it available, but I can get that for you.
Okay, that's fine.
But it is within the RCA. It gives you the additions that we're adding. So really the actual plan actually just gets longer and longer and longer. So
And some of those that
never,
we're speculating on could be confidential, so we have to be very careful.
right.
Well, for every time, we have to bring it in ahead of time before we can enter into any type of negotiations. And for every time we amend the plan, there'll be a description up to a cap, the dollar amount that could be designated out of the TIF for use, and a general description of the project. So every time we amend for a specific project, there'll be detail that's provided to the council in the plan as well.
Great, thank you.
So we have to amend the plan before we can do any bonding or any other expenses within the plan. And then we do bring the actual agreement to you for you to approve too. This does not approve any agreement of any nature. So it's kind of a elongated process.
That's all. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay. We vote on that one yet? No.
Not yet. Are you ready? Rayford,
Aye.
Shaner,
Aye.
Berenstein.
Aye.
Oh, there was a hearing. Hearing is now closed, right?
Yes.
All right, hearing and ordinance amending Chapter 3.20, Teton Urban Renewal Tax Increment District. Motion?
So move. Or second. Did you?
Yes, I was.
Okay, second.
What?
Mayor.
Oh, yep, the hearing is now open. Sorry.
So and just, we're on item 17,
Yes.
correct?
And I moved and Ike seconded.
And I do have a question. So when we do why do we amend the chapter?
Chris can provide additional detail too, but we have to actually bring the land into the area and include the legal description.
Correct. This is the only of the urban renewal areas where we're actually changing the area. So that requires us to add the sub-area into the municipal code to actually TIF it. So that's why this one is the only one that has an ordinance.
Okay.
This one, you're modifying the legal description to include broadened scope of property.
Correct.
Okay. Anyone else? The hearing is now closed.
Shaner?
Aye.
Berenstein?
Aye.
Rayford?
Aye.
18, hearing and, whoops,
Sorry, do you wish to do second and third reading?
oh, go ahead and do that, thank you.
I'll move second, or move to waive the rules.
Second.
Berenstein?
Aye.
Rayford?
Actually, we don't have 4.
Yeah, we can't do it.
I don't-
You're right. We can't. We've looked that up before.
I'm sorry. It can just be first because you need 4.
Yep,
I
you do.
withdraw my motion.
Thank you, council members.
Right. All right, so let's move on to number 18. Hearing and resolution designating an area of the Sioux City, as appropriate for an urban renewal project and adopting an amended and restated urban renewal plan for the combined Central Sioux City CBD urban renewal project area. I move that we,
Move the item. I'll second it.
the hearing is now open. Anyone to be heard? Seeing no one, the meeting is closed.
Berenstein?
Aye.
Rayford?
Aye.
Shaner?
Aye. 19, hearing and resolution designating an area of the city as appropriate for an urban renewal project and adopting an amended and restated urban renewal plan for the amended Donner Park urban renewal project area. I'll move it.
Second.
The hearing is now open. Is there anyone who'd like to be heard? Seeing no one, the hearing is now closed.
Berenstein?
Aye.
Rayford?
Aye.
Shaner?
Aye. Number 20, hearing and resolution designating an area in Sioux City as appropriate for an urban renewal project and adopting amended and restated urban renewal plan for the combined Floyd River urban renewal project area. Moved it.
Second.
The hearing is now open. Anyone to be heard? Seeing no one, the hearing is closed.
Rayford?
Aye.
Shaner?
Aye.
Berenstein?
Aye.
21, hearing and resolution approving plans and specs for the Lorraine Avenue resurfacing project. I'll move that one.
Second.
Public hearing is now open. Is there anyone who wishes to be heard? Seeing no one, the hearing is now closed.
Rayford?
Aye.
Shaner?
Aye.
Berenstein?
Aye.
22, hearing and resolution approving plans and specs for the sidewalk ramp project. Move it.
Second.
The public hearing is now open. Is there anyone to be heard? Seeing no one, the hearing is closed.
Rayford?
Aye.
Shaner?
Aye.
Berenstein?
Aye.
23, hearing and resolution approving plans and specs for the Taxiway C associated areas of rehabilitation project at the airport. Move it.
Second.
Public hearing is now open. Is there anyone to be heard? Seeing no one, the hearing is now closed.
Shaner?
Aye.
Berenstein?
Aye.
Rayford?
Aye.
24, hearing and resolution adopting the annual budget for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2027, and the fiscal 2027 through 2031 capital improvement program. I'll move it.
Second.
Public hearing is now open. Is there anyone who wishes to be heard? Seeing no one, the hearing's closed.
Berenstein?
Aye.
Rayford?
Aye.
Shaner?
Aye. 25, resolution adopting and approving a statement of authorized personnel complement for departments within the city of Sioux City. I'll move it.
Second.
The hearing is now open.
So
No hearing.
Oh, no hearing. Oh, okay.
So-
We just had to vote. Sorry.
question on 25. So the resolution,
Oh.
this is simply to approve the employee complement consistent with the 26-27 budget.
Teresa Fitch, Assistant City Manager, yes. And they are not hearings, but we have to put them together. So
Sorry.
they fall, that's okay. And the next will be the transfers that are also associated with the budget.
Got it. Yep.
Just to note, in a couple of weeks, we will bring a summarization of the budget to council, but we need to wait through April 30th when the other taxing entities submit their budget.
That when theirs is due to us?
April 30th is when it's due to the state, so we'll actually have the dollars and the levies from each one of the other taxing entities here. And we'll bring a summarization similar to what I brought in January to explain the budget to everybody. It will be updated numbers for the 27 year.
Do they ever submit that to you before the 30th?
They don't typically to us. We just wait till it goes through the Department of Management.
Be nice if they did.
And I'd like to reiterate that we're thankful that the savings that we came up for the residents and commercial.
Yes.
Staff did an amazing job, Teresa. I hope that you share that, or
please.
I'll send an email to everybody. I already did, but I'll
We're
send
very, very
another one.
pleased. So, yes,
Yes.
hopefully the public will see that too when we bring
Everybody
it
really
back.
buckled down. They stepped up to the plate. They left no stone unturned, and it's just so appreciated.
Yep, we actually got less property tax this year as a city than we did last year. So we did a really good job.
Yeah.
Phenomenal
through our
job.
budget.
Very nice work.
Absolutely.
We did a great job, so, yes.
All right.
Thank you.
Nice job, Sarah.
Wonderful. 26, resolution approving fund transfers for the fiscal year of
We'll need
2020.
to vote on
Oh,
25.
sorry, I thought we did.
All right. Berenstein?
Aye.
Rayford?
Aye.
Shaner?
Aye. 26, resolution approving fund transfers for the fiscal year 2027 budget. I'll move that.
Second.
Rayford?
Aye.
Shaner?
Aye.
Berenstein?
Aye.
27, resolution declaring an official intent to issue debt to reimburse the city for certain original expenditures paid in connection with specified projects. I'll move it.
Second. And I just wanted to, yeah, I know, right? And Teresa, I did have a note here to ask you about this, but time got away
that's
from
all
me.
right.
So, and really, being just kind of new at this thing, I think the thing that jumped out at me was debt. And so would you just give a quick little,
Sure.
what that all means? And
Sure. Teresa Fitch, Assistant City Manager. So here you're looking at all of the debt, declared debt, it's an intent to reimburse. So what we typically do is, right now, we haven't issued our debt for the 27 year, but up to 60 days before we issue debt, we have the ability to utilize those funds if you approve this. So projects can be brought forward. Typically, we do that for parks because this is the time of year they need to get things done for pools, those things before they open. It gives them the ability to utilize the funding before the debt is actually in place and we've sold our bonds. So that's really what you're looking at here. And then you'll see us actually sell the bonds. The bonds will come to council in May for a sale of the bond. And then we'll close in the bond in June.
We're kind of lending out the money.
Right, so you get a period of time before you actually sell it that you can utilize it prior to that.
Okay.
So that's really what you're looking at here. On the next item, this is TIF. This is TIF indebtedness, so this is certifying the debt for the TIF. So.
thank you. That'd be one less email you'll get from me now.
Yeah, no, that's all right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Shaner?
Aye.
Berenstein?
Aye.
Rayford?
Aye.
28, resolution approving advances of funds for repayment from the city's urban renewal tax increment revenue funds and directing the filing of certification.
I'll move 28.
Second.
Berenstein?
Aye.
Rayford?
Aye.
Shaner?
Aye. Ordinances, 29, ordinance amending Chapter 1230020, Stormwater Program Maintenance Fee, and 1230030, Special Rule for certain nonprofit organizations to modify the storm water collection fees. I'll move it.
Second.
Berenstein?
Aye.
Rayford?
Aye.
Shaner?
Aye. Okay. That's the rest of our, let's see,
Building permits.
Citizen
citizen concerns.
Oh.
Are there any citizen concerns? If you have any, please step up to the microphone and state your name. Citizen concerns, all right, we'll move on to presentations. Daryl, building permit first.
Durable Inspection Services Manager. You all received a copy of the permit schedule that was sent out on Friday. The only update I would have to the schedule is we had a number of residential properties that were all approved on Friday, moving a lot of those ones that hadn't been issued yet over. I'm looking at the average of those days that were in place, and they were 1 to 2 days.
Excellent. Very good. Is your staff feeling a lift getting them like out quicker? I mean, when you don't have them.
Or more pressure.
Can I say no comment?
Yes, you can say that.
Just say yes.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. But there's been their challenges. There's always challenges. And one of the things that we always are challenging is when we have numerous departments that are responsible for this, even though the focus ends up back on the building department.
Right.
Because it's delayed. And
you.
it's not just the building department. And that's the
Right.
frustration some of our staff has made mention to numerous times. Because
And, you
it's
know,
not
they-
just the building departments.
And they shouldn't feel so pressured to knock them out in 1 or 2 days that they don't feel like they can do their job thoroughly either. So
Yeah,
they
I mean,
take the
and
time that they
and again, it goes back to how complete are the documents. You
Right.
know, you can't approve something if you don't have a complete set of documents.
Right,
There's
right.
no way.
Right.
Not if you're going to sign off on it, so.
Right,
One of the other obstacles I can say that I will mention that we've run into is the new loadings, the new code, as far as wind load, snow load. As we all know, that those climate conditions have changed, and snow load being the biggest one, so we're having to go back to truss manufacturers and ask them to move, make sure that they're meeting those new requirements.
So it
that are
has to be
set
beefed
forth.
up?
Yeah, the
Oh.
snow loads geographically changed a lot. And when I put in the new code this last time, I actually took this residential portion of it, made it a lot simpler than trying to go in by specific address. Commercial side is a specific address that you have to put in. And there's the calculations that you use to bring it down. So on the residential side, I used, I looked at 30 different addresses in Sioux City, and I took an average of what those are, and I came out with a number, which is amendable to everybody, so.
Okay. Now, is wind a factor in these
Wind has
changes as
been
well?
probably 3 code cycles ago. The wind went up from 110 to 115
I
ultimate
just
wind design.
think it's much windier than it's ever
Yeah,
been in
I'm gonna-
years past.
I'm going to say it's probably going to increase on the next code cycle, I would imagine again, because we are having some of those issues. We're seeing structures that are failing, structures that wind is taking the roofs off, those kind of things. Things that were built a long time ago. They weren't
Right.
built to
Well,
necessarily withstand that.
we had a neighbor who had a pretty darn new Morton-type building that, I mean, it was less than a year old.
Yep.
So I was just wondering
It was
about that.
probably out in the county and wasn't affected.
It was not in Woodbury County, I will say that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Those are
interesting.
all important things,
They are.
life safety issues, so.
We have to follow what the state tells us to do.
Do we, real quick, I know, a couple months I didn't know as much as I know now, and I still don't know enough, right? But I know that we had talked about electronically or trying to get.
Yeah,
some of-
it's coming around more and more, I mean, the biggest thing is you always had some of the people that were doing business in a lot of different areas, whether it's across the state of Iowa, South Dakota, wherever it might be, and they were used to the electronic submittals in some of those cities, like, the larger communities, Des Moines and what have you. And we're getting more and more of that in now. It's continued to build, and it does make it nice because, like I mentioned earlier, all these different departments having to sign off on it, it's very simple to share that immediately when it comes in, because now you're clicking on it and they can download the document as well, whether it's on a PDF or it's actually a downloadable document. They can do either way, depending on the size of it, and they can see it immediately and start their work in the process of getting that done as well.
And more often than not now. the way that you
It's
do it?
coming up. I mean, residential is a little slower because they're, you don't have as many people that are, you have architect firms that are doing, because they need to be stamped drawings for commercial buildings. So you have a lot of architect firms and engineer firms that do that work for the clients. Well, they're very used to doing electronics, be back and forth. That communication is huge because you can redline it, if you will, right on the document, send the email back off and have a response back in a matter of minutes, typically. I shouldn't say typically, possibly. You still have some that delay, but if they're paying attention to their inboxes, they'll see them and get the comments back to us quickly, and that speeds things up as well.
They want to get it done quickly too, so they get paid.
Absolutely, yeah. So we're still working towards the compliance part of it in that respect, but it's getting there.
Do we, and I don't know if you had answered this before, do we have a checklist for?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, their checklists are on the website. We also have one that was added to rental housing. We actually have a QR code we send out on our letters now, and all they got to do is click on that, and it'll take them right to the checklist that shows them everything they need to prep for before we do a rental inspection.
That's awesome.
The thing I would add is we get weekly reports from IT on the progress of the software installation and working on connectivity, inspection letters, and H5 configurations, which sounds good to me, but I slowly working our way through that process, and hopefully we'll be ready for training soon. So
Yeah.
Great.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you. Nice job, both of you.
Next up, Art.
Good afternoon, Ryan Bertrand, Captain, Sioux City PD. So activities continue. We got a few updates, some things that are a little more behind the scene. One of the things that we've done and are ready to implement very soon is to do a high contact name flag with our record management system. We're ready to go with that. So what that will do, that would alert, if there's an officer who is not particularly aware for whatever reason that someone is a high contact person and service resistant and is a regular offender, that the officer doesn't have that knowledge or jail staff doesn't have that knowledge, this name flag or this will follow with those high contact individuals, and that will alert the jail staff, but also
Be a good tool.
ultimately to let the judges and prosecutors know what's going on. So as an example of this, there was a person, of course I can't say any names, but who had a 30-day sentence for a trespass, and that was solely related to a demonstrated past history and ongoing problems with that. So what the judges had asked of us was to increase the complaint and affidavits. We've done that, and so that would be an example of that happening. The HART team is working on some referral cards. Obviously, the trained HART members are very well versed in resource allocation. They know who to send to. So before, where law enforcement would encounter somebody, and if there was no crime, they may not know what to do. So the HART people obviously are. So what we're making up is a little card that will have numbers of the major service industries. So the HART team itself, maybe the gospel mission, warming shelter, our housing, et cetera.
To hand out or
To
for
hand
their
out.
own
The officer can give to that person.
Oh,
So for
okay.
example, hey, there's no crime here. There's nothing, we're not gonna take any law enforcement action, but you still might need help.
Here's a resource.
Here's a resource. That 2 o'clock in the morning on a weekend, here's a resource. So that's something we're going to be rolling out soon. As far as the law enforcement side of things, we kind of redefined our priorities. What we're finding as this team, and I say the team really begins to get spun up, we're adding partners every week. The law enforcement is quickly being outnumbered by many different agencies, and we love to see that on the outreach side. So we've kind of redefined some of our priorities for the law enforcement people to keep the law enforcement stuff toward the top, which would be the enforcement and those safety pieces. So we got that up there. And then what we're trying to do, we still want to do the outreach. We want to help those who want help. We've tracked that. That's a new statistic. We're adding some more eye-friendly graphs and pie charts. And one of the things we're tracking is what percentage of people are service resistant and the people that are accepting of service. Most recent numbers are about 75% are resistant to service and about 25% resistant to service. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
And about 25%. So we had a success story this week. We were able to get a 77-year-old housed up in Lamar's. She's well on her way, so that's all good. The main things that, of course, the short-term problem that we run into is transportation. Many agencies are talking about that being a problem, getting people to and from to different visits, even to go out to the security office. That's a short-term, small problem. We're working on that. And then, of course, one of the bigger ones is going to be substance abuse, mental health, long-term. So one of the initial observations in doing the work is that there is a lot of many different agencies that have a small, limited scope of the problem. And hopefully I see the need that we would coordinate at a higher level, maybe some of the money, like I'm thinking United Way or some people a little further up the food chain, that we could look at some law changes. And I was thinking of a grant. There's a grant option that we're looking at now in partnership with with Sioux Community Health for $100,000 for some transport. That's one thing that we're going to be working on. But Councilman, you had mentioned when we were talking about a prior grant for like Burn Jag, could there be other sources? And I think now we have, amidst the group, the ability to kind of go after something a little bit more outreach-oriented, not law enforcement-oriented, and I think we can support that. So that would be about it. Unless anyone has any specific questions, I can dig into some deeper issues.
I have just one question.
Yes.
Does the litter dash have any effect on the folks who are unhoused?
I can't say. I don't know the answer to that. I did see a bunch of people out going around. It was nice to see. I think that helps.
Great. I noticed there was a place on Hamilton Boulevard there that was really cleaned up. And I'm just wondering if that, if it has any effects on folks that are kind of hibernating, but heard anything?
The city property, we have been very quick to get on city property as far as the encampments and stuff. Obviously, we have a little more ability to address those. Anything private that we're running into, again, we're making those referrals and we're trying to work with them.
Contacting the property owner as well?
To get that going, yep. So as we get them, we're knocking them down. As we get them, we're trying not to sit on anything and let anything linger or get out of hand. So
I think there's the piece to discuss too, that Downtown Partners is now participating.
Yes.
So hopefully they will, I think, be interacting and reaching out really soon, our team and what they're doing for cleanliness and maintenance downtown.
Reagan, would you want to speak to that?
Yeah. Do you want to introduce Raj? Introduce Raj. Raj, come on up.
Going to make me say his name in public.
He can introduce
Raj
introduce
is
himself.
our new business liaison down in Downtown Partners. He and his wife Denise are joining our community. They joined in 2024. Raj will be joining us as the business liaison coordinator, but I know you mentioned the community outreach, what we're doing with our street maintenance. We had Bill start about the same day as Raj. This is just a new effort for Downtown Partners, focusing more on business recruitment, some things downtown, but also the on-street presence of Bill will be of addition to the Heart team. He's going to meet with them probably in the next couple weeks and get his feet wet on that a little bit. But he'll be picking up trash, identifying graffiti, kind of being the presence on the street to really help out with some things. So I will introduce Bill as well. On Friday, we are having a meet and greet with our team. If anyone's willing to stop down and learn more between noon and 2, it'll be at our office down on Historic 4th Street. So we would
There's
welcome.
snacks?
There's snacks. There's snacks. I'm going to do something with snacks. Yes, there will be snacks, Julie.
I could supply them, I suppose, if I need to.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Well, I think that this new presence, I'm privileged to it because I'm on your board, but I cannot wait to see a vehicle and to see a body down there milling around, picking things up, greeting shop owners, just having someone there that seems to be a responsible party for the area. I think that wish we had one for every neighborhood, honestly.
Agreed. I wish we could make it bigger and better, but we got to start somewhere.
Right,
So
we can.
This is what
we
we'll
can.
work with.
Yep.
Well,
This will be our pilot.
And Raj will have a huge impact as well. It's not just the visibility
Agreed.
of somebody that's literally outside visiting or collecting.
Yes.
But Raj's impact on the property owners, the tenants, business
Agreed.
development and growth is critical.
Agreed.
Very good.
Agreed.
Thank you, Reagan.
Reagan, can you provide your name for the legal
Sorry,
record?
Reagan Cody, Downtown Partners.
Thank you.
Raj Chowdhury with Downtown
Very good.
Partners.
And
Thank
Raj's
you.
wife accepted a new position as well.
Yes,
so
she'll be
we're-
at Explore Siouxland, so she's right upstairs.
Thank you.
Raj, do you want to give 60 seconds of your background
Sure.
and how you ended up in Sioux City, please?
Sure, absolutely.
I know the answer to this story, which is why I'm asking him the question.
I have lived 28 years in Colorado before coming here about a year and a half ago. I spent the last 10 years running my own company. I produced art and craft markets and festivals throughout Colorado, mainly for municipalities and retail centers. In doing so, I supported thousands of artists, small businesses over the last 10 years. I'm used to hearing pain points and helping people through issues, and I'm looking forward to being the feet on the street for Downtown Partners.
Excellent.
And how did you end up in Sioux City?
Oh, he wants that.
I ended up in Sioux City because we became empty nesters a couple years ago. We decided to move and kind of knew that the Midwest would probably be it. We took a couple of road trips through and created the short list, and in the end, we chose Sioux City because we thought the most opportunity was here and that it was on the verge and on the cusp of something. And that's where we typically go. We go with that type of flow, and we're excited to be here and be a part of what happens next.
As a former attorney, I know you never ask a question you don't know the answer to. I knew the answer, so thank you.
Thanks, Greg.
Thank you, and you're right.
Thank you.
We are on the verge.
Awesome. Thank you all.
Thanks, Raj.
Captain,
Thanks, Raj.
it would be remiss of me if I didn't ask, when you talk about high contact, and just so that we all understand, high contact is obviously, when you have a call or, some type of complaint with that. It's not just you seeing somebody who's sitting at the library every day,
Yeah, this would be, I should clarify that this would be probably likely criminal contact. This would be people that have been assaultive for very important and specific reasons. They maybe are an additional safety concern above and beyond. Yeah, merely being seen frequently does not warrant that kind of attention.
Absolutely. And just to, you can definitely see a difference. And you guys are being real responsive and trying to stay on top of those. So great job, really. And I know it's a tough balance sometimes, but you guys are doing a phenomenal job with this.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, they're working very hard, very passionate. The team is doing good work. And again, it's just trying to steer the ship a little bit on my end. So they're out there, boots on the ground doing it, and I think they're making good relationships. And the stories are good to hear. Again, we've already said them before, but people now that would otherwise have turned their back on us and walked away are now at least asking for help, which allows all of our different agencies in town to do their work. So I think it is definitely making improvement, and now it's just to continue to fine-tune it so that the progress keeps going. We don't lose their momentum.
Very good.
Great.
Thanks.
Thanks, Captain.
You're welcome.
All right. Council concerns.
Want me to start?
Sure.
Just a couple quick things. I will be leaving tomorrow for Washington, D.C. for the Chamber annual lobbying trip. I know Mayor Scott is already there, but I will be there the balance of this week, which is unfortunately why I won't be able to attend the ATV, UTV discussion tomorrow night, so I apologize that I can't be there for that, but I will be curious how the discussion goes. I've had a number of people that have reached out to me really on both sides of the spectrum that support it and some that don't. And so I'll be curious how the public meeting goes and anxious to visit with you maybe later this week.
Would you say it's been about 50-50 for you?
Yeah, maybe even a little more against, but certainly both sides.
Mr. Rayford.
Absolutely. I am looking forward to this discussion because I as I've said before, and I'll say again, we just want to get it right, and we want to make sure that we do what we're supposed to do. The big thing for me, I guess this, as was mentioned at the last meeting for the Week of the Young Child, I had the opportunity to go over to Irving Preschool and spend some time with the class. And they had me eat breakfast with them and read and just share some things. And they were all 4-year-olds, and they were just phenomenal. And I told them that I would definitely show the gift that they gave us. So you can see here.
Very nice.
And they were so proud. And Ann, I believe she put on the website and posted that the pictures that the kids were, I was very surprised. They were very happy and just anxious for me to open and see it. I believe they took sponges and they did all of this. And so just a little note with that, this is an annual celebration to bring awareness to the importance of early childhood education. And so they just really, really was thrilled to have me there. One little kid, he literally cried because he wasn't sitting by me. And so I thought that was great. And so, this is what makes it worth it and having that opportunity. So I don't know if they're watching, but hey, kiddos, and, so that was a good thing. And again, just to reiterate, I am looking forward to the town hall meeting tomorrow with the Sioux City PD, and a portion of that will be on the UTV situation or things that we're dealing with. So.
As a reminder, Ann has put on the website a survey for people to complete prior to tomorrow night even. So there's 10 questions plus comments on the website.
Way to get your opinion there. For myself, I would like to thank everybody who participated in the litter dash. I'm not kidding you, it makes such a difference to grab those bags and to grab that litter. It's not blowing in the trees. It just makes such a difference. It helps show people, our neighbors, friends, family, strangers, people who are traveling through the city, that we care about our city if we clean it up. I always, answer the question. I've had staff say, well, it's not my trash when I had a small business and we'd go clean up. And I say, the minute you lay an eye on it, it becomes yours. So you may not have put it there, but you're responsible for picking it up if you're walking past it. So let's all continue to do that. Show everybody that we love our city. Invest in your city by doing small acts like this. It makes such a difference. And if we show that we love our city, that will promote others to come here and love our city and invest in our city. We want employers and we want restaurants and new businesses, all kinds of things like that. But again, I can't state it enough. We have to love ourselves if we expect someone else to come here and invest in us. So I just want everybody to try to have a more positive outlook, care about where we live, and show that you care by investing in it yourself, even in a small way of picking up trash or making sure your yards look good to the best of your ability. That's all I have for today. I move we adjourn.
Second.
Berenstein?
Aye.
Rayford?
Aye.
Shaner?
Aye. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.